Good time zone, everyone. This is your naturally born hated Virgo speaking. Just had to be quiet for a bit, just listen out for my mother, my dog, make sure they're okay. Dog's taken care of, like my mother said. So now I'm just still trying to fight this little virus or whatever. Fun stuff. Fun stuff. I just gotta make sure I got my glasses. Also, Raider, Sonic, Bruce, Softpaw, and everyone that came by. Um, during my last stream. I appreciate you. Thank you, Ren, Jess Scheiser, and everyone that was a part of the stream. Appreciate you all so much for listening in. I think I don't have my glasses on me. Since we're all just trying to, you know, just kind of shake off some things. I'll go ahead and do this real quick. Hey, beauty. Love you too. Number frog. Welcome back to my room. I'm ready to die over and over again this game. Over and over and over again. Ugh. So what you been up to? Oh yeah? Did you beat it? I ain't got no idea what I'm doing. Stuck on this one part. See what I mean? I'm stuck on level 1. So I don't know. Shoot. So this is like a big open world 2D platformer Souls-like game. Voice acting is quite phenomenal. I'm guessing it's like a puzzle or something. I don't know. Oh yeah, we'll go ahead and get started with the topic of the day. So, did y'all see the new Foxy Paws model? It totally doesn't look like something that I am familiar with. Nope, not at all. Honestly, when I saw that model, I just felt looking disappointed. Not looking. I love Cat Spaceman. Welcome back to my realm. I honestly just was like a little disappointed. Nah, I was incredibly disappointed. Yo, how's life been treating you? And I just didn't know what to say. I was just speechless. I went from laughing to be a little pixelated cure. Welcome back to my room. I went from be a little bit I know how to feel, but I want to start with the positives, in my opinion. The toggles, spot on. I could tell that she's learning about how to utilize toggles properly. And a lot of people really like the outfit. Me personally, when it comes to Avi creators and outfits, I feel like they could add just a little bit more, but they don't. They don't. They give us the bare minimum, and then it's like once the Avi stops selling, then it's just left to rot, which sucks. Well, if you want the other outfit, you gotta pay somebody hundreds of dollars to make it. So I just found out that Scout from Dirt was added to Fortnite. I don't know what DRG is, but that's cool. That's awesome. But yeah, the only thing I can say to Foxy Paws is keep doing what you're doing. You're making money, but as Dilcher Davis would say, sorry you gotta get this work. This has got to be one of the most disappointing Abbeys I've seen in a while. I just looked at it at first glance, couldn't stop laughing, and I literally just immediately saw the similarities between this. And of course, it's a hybrid. I get all of that, but it's just like, come on, like my friend Virtual Candy tried this with the pony model, where they tried to make the model look a little bit too realistic, and it just didn't work. People just looked at it and was like, nah, I'm sorry. Sorry. No. One thing I noticed with Avi creators is that they always have these one-hit wonders. They make an Avi, right? And then it makes all this money, and then all of a sudden they're just scratching their heads wondering, I don't understand how come this one Avi didn't make a lot of money. You know, because everybody remembers their first, you know. You remember your first ex, your first lover. You remember your first video game, you know, your first time you had ice cream. Everyone remembers their first, and people, by nature, expect something that replaces the memory of the first. And if you don't do that, well, people are just going to be like, oh, it's cute, and that's it. And that's all I could say. I look at it, I'm just like, oh, it's cute, that's it. Like $35, you mean you get a lot. You get the toggles, you get all of that. But I feel like Foxy Paws, and not just Foxy Paws, I feel like just Abby makers in general kind of miss the whole point of like, what is it that people want? And sometimes you can offer someone so much and it can be too much. And sometimes you can offer somebody too little and it's not enough. In the case of Foxy Paws, it's literally just feels like buying a Fortnite skin. What am I really getting? You know, you get a skin and that's it. There's nothing else to it. I'm not saying that you have to go be like Fortnite, like add animations and stuff. It's just, what else do I get? You got to ask yourself that, you know, because again, I understand that your community, they pretty much are fine. They'll say, oh, we like it the way it is, but the job of the creator is to go far beyond what, you know, the person wants without, you know, destroying their trust, without making them doubt you for 1 second. You're a dwarf in space shooting, mining while fighting off bugs, robots, and Tangerine. Welcome to my realm. Oh, that game. That character's in for Fortnite. Huh. Hey, before you know it, you're gonna have a hell of a boss and Aspen Hotel in Fortnite. It's gonna happen soon. But yeah, that's just what people gotta understand, is that it's the job of the creator to, you know, get feedback, critical or not, and really ask these hard hitting questions. And no one's gonna like these hard hitting questions because, you know, it may come across as mean or crude or rude, but this is the type of feedback that's going to help you as the creator. King of Covers, welcome back to my realm. So I mean, I get critical feedback all the time, and is it always the best feedback? Rico, open commissions, welcome to back to my realm. You know, it's just, you know, I mean, at this point, when I was laughing, I'm not laughing like, oh, the model's like so ugly. But no. It's far beyond that. It's just, I look and I'm just like, really? It's just like when you see another Call of Duty or Battlefield game. It's just like, and then you finally, you know, rent it. You know, you rent the game. You know, you go through all the updates and then you play. You're just like, really? So you figure to yourself, nah, it's obviously just me. It's just me. And then you start hearing other people talking, and then they say the same thing, and then you're just like, oh. So I don't know. Do I hope the model sells? Yeah, of course. I'm not gonna wish anybody's downfall. You know, it's just that Alice Otero, welcome to my realm. So it's like it just comes to a point where the artists, the creators, they have to ask themselves how far they willing to go. And you know, I was listening to like a motivational speech, right? And it was literally talking about you only go as far as however much effort you put into something. You could put so much effort into something and miss the whole point. You can put so little effort and, you know, miss everyone, you know, and even disappoint yourself. But you have to be proud of what you do. So I don't understand the vision of Foxy Paws and her goals, but she understands the vision. So if she can see that the feedback that she receives is not to hurt her, but it is to help her so she can grow as an artist. Because every artist should never ever be fully content. They should always want to expand upon the horizon when it comes to being an artist. Because if an artist is content with what they do, how they draw, Rico Yee, welcome back to my realm. How you doing? that's just something I learned. Like for example, when I draw, right, I always tell myself, what can I do to make this just a little better? You know, just a tad bit better. You know, there's nothing wrong with asking yourself that question. It really isn't. It's a good thing. You want to ask yourself, what can I do to be better? What can I learn? What is it that the people are saying? And not get so butthurt and angry about it just because someone says, I don't like the model. Sorry, but I don't like the model. And that's okay for me to say I don't like the new model. Because people like me, we help artists. We help them to see like, hey, it's cute, but there's just something about the model I don't like. And instead of getting mad and throwing band hammers and stuff, why not ask? What is it that you don't like about the model? That person will blow you away and give you such feedback that the next model that you make will probably make even more money than the first one because you're willing to open your heart, open your mind, and realize that. What I'm trying to say is, when I look at the Calypso, yeah, the toggle system I can see is a huge improvement over all the other models. But as I'm looking at it, and as I'm just watching the video, right, the YouTube video, I'm like, something ain't right here. The first thing that threw me off was the arms and the face. Now, when I think of a shark, I think of a shark, which is someone that's like big, bulky, and strong. And I see this shark, and I'm just like, huh? It just it doesn't work. Now, even if she were to add like a slider to like make the arms bigger, more bulkier, it's like, oh hey Jeremy. It's just like, it don't work for me. It just don't. It just don't work for me. I look at it and I'm just like, yeah, this model's gonna blow up, and I give it 2 months, and people are gonna go back to their Zilla. They're gonna go back to yeah, exactly. And we don't have any Street Shark Abbeys at all. I'm actually curious and just seeing if I can find an artist to just literally just make a Street Shark Abbey and just say, you know what? Here you go. Here's some money. That is, of course, after I get the update on like what's going on with checks and yada yada yada. What's going on with finances because it's pretty tight. And I just say, you know what? Screw it. Street Sharks. Bam. Here you go. Wizard Gangsta. Welcome to my realm. I have no idea what I'm doing in this game. Long, thank you so much for the likes. Likes. So, long story short, I'm just going to go ahead and just give 4, once again, suggestions for Foxy Balls, okay? Because I already know she ain't going to listen or whatever, but I'm going to at least give it a try. You need to ask for more feedback. Seriously, look at your portfolio, as I stated before, and ask yourself, am I truly going above and beyond? There's nothing wrong with asking yourself that. It's scary at first because it's like, you look at your body, you're like, oh, I'm doing good, I'm working out, as much as I need to. But it's like we get scared to ask like doctors and professionals, like, am I really doing what I'm supposed to do? Am I actually, eating right, And sometimes the answer that you receive is not the one that you like, and it's always going to probably be no, you're not. And then to some people, that's like demoralizing. No, that's a good thing. It's good when someone says no. It's a good thing when people say you ain't, working hard enough. Not in a way that you may like it, but it'll be in a way where it's like, you know what? If this person never really cared, they would have never even said anything. They would have just walked on, told me it looks nice, and just go on about their day. But this person's taking the time out of their busy schedule, out of whatever they're going through. Zeus, welcome to my realm. To Melihani, good to see you. How are you liking the new Hollow Knight game? That would be cool to see like a Street Shark puppet from back in the day stream. Making rounds? Making rounds? What type of rounds are you making? Thank you so much for sharing the stream. How have your streams been lately? I just take care of my mom. She's hanging in there. She's not liking the chemo. First she's like, oh, this is cool. And now she's just like, I'm not liking this at all. She's literally just resting right now. My dog's resting too. She worried about her. I'm trying to calm her down. So dog's asleep, mother's asleep. It's just me up. No problem. Just stop by, say hi. Yeah, she's hanging in there. It's been like this for the past 9 weeks, 10 weeks. It's been a lot. It's calm, huh? The irony, you're giving me corn now. Arrow, thank you so much for all of that. Much gratitude. I feel you there. Well, thank you, Spaceman. I'm glad you feel me there. Glad you feel me there. Yeah. Oh, I'm very sorry. Hey, your dad's gonna be all right. I promise. You know, just continue to be there. And my mom went through chemo too. It's hard. Thank you so much. Yeah, she hates it. She hates it. Like she's been having her moments where she gets frustrated at me, and I'm like, "What'd you say me for?" like, yeah, that's what constantly makes me just starts cracking up laughing. Like after she's done, like not in front of her face, but like just by myself. I just think about that 50 Cent me. That's literally me when I deal with trolls in VRchat. Is like I just I just think about that. I'm like what did I do? I'm just relaxing after a long day of work. Like, oh my god. I feel like I'm going around in circles. I have no idea where I'm going. I may have to pull out the old strategy guide. The old virtual strategy guide, figure out where I'm going. But yeah, when an artist literally isn't, happy dudes, thank you so much for joining the live. How you doing? Gortash and Joy, welcome to my realm. Yeah, that sounds congested too. So I'm also fighting a sinus infection. It never ends for me. I get one moment to just chill, relax, and it's just like, nope, nope, nope. All the roses. Oh, thank you. You got that Southern accent. Oh, thank you. It's odd because I'm IRL black mixed with Native American, but yeah, I can sound like a Southern. So I guess it's just in my you know my bloodline, my voice and whatnot. I'm just glad to just have a day to just not have to deal with people constantly coming in and out of the house, banging on the roof, trying to fix everything, disrupting my sleep. Honestly lost track of what time I went to bed. I can't remember if I had what 6 hours sleep, 5 hours sleep. I'm trying to think. I think I passed out around 2 o'clock. Oh, it had to be around 2 o'clock. I woke up and it was around 8. People's having accent about like from Illinois. Aw, yeah, same here. Some just pretty much I receive all types of compliments about my voice. Some even state that Ducky, welcome to my room. I even have like compliments about what is it? About how I could be like a radio show host and whatnot. So, but yeah, you have a very nice, lovely voice too, and I'm pretty sure that your lover agrees as well. Yeah, I'm stuck. I have no idea where I'm going. I was supposed to be playing the new Shinobi game, but everyone keeps talking about this Hollow Knight game. I'm going Blue Sky. Oh my goodness, Hollow Knight! This game changed my life. This game cured my insomnia. This game, I'm like, okay, all right, okay, all right. Let me do this. Let me go ahead and download this game. Literally, nearly almost crashed in VRchat trying to download this while in VRchat. So, and I gotta say, it's definitely a good game. It's amazing how it took them almost a decade to make the sequel. So I guess the creators could make up their mind like, oh, we want to add this. Oh, we can't add this. So, but I will say when it comes to the Hollow Knight developers, and I kind of wish that no, not kind of. I wish Foxy Falls was like this, where the developers of Hollow Knight they actually paid attention to the feedback of this game, right? And they're like, you know what, this worked in the first one, and what worked in the first one may not work in the second one. So let's try this. This is what the fans are saying. you know, and we agree. We even did some tests. Hey, let's try it their way, see if it works. Oh my God. We took their feedback and it works. And we're making money. Huh. Imagine that. That's how it works. But if you just tell yourself, I'm not gonna listen to any feedback, I know what I'm doing, you don't know anything, then yeah, that's pretty much how people are just gonna be like, you're like, they're just gonna be like, yeah, whatever. I do what I want to do. And we all had that. We all had that moment where we're like, oh, I do what I want to do. So that's just one of my old pieces of advice that I gave. I even made a post about it on Fur Affinity. But yeah, really encourage more feedback from your community. Like seriously, and tell them be as harsh. Tell them be as harsh as you need to be. I tell people all the time, be as harsh as you want to be when it comes to my content because I need it. I need it. Like when I've dealt with trolls in my comments telling me, "Oh, your content sucks" and whatnot, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, tell me, well, how does it suck? You know, do you have any suggestions?" And it's just a pin drop, and that's how I can tell. Okay, you're a troll. I'm literally open enough to tell you, okay, I agree with you. I need some suggestions. You know, that's when you are just the student again, and they are the teacher. You know, because obviously they're doing something that you're not fully comprehending. That's good. That's a good thing. Where am I supposed to? Oh, okay. So I can look around, but I don't know where to go. Is there like a key I'm supposed to look for? Am I supposed to go up? Am I supposed to go down? I don't know. But yeah, second thing. The second thing. Um, and I will say this one last time. It's like two of the pieces of advice I've already stated, but I'm going to state the importance. This one is do more research. I know I said this before, but I'll say it again. Every artist, regardless of whether they're an expert or not, should always take time to do a little bit more research. Just an hour's worth, you know? Look up, whatever, genre or audience that you're looking up and just take some time to just get a pen and paper and just start writing some stuff down. I do this all the time. Just write some stuff down, like mentally, physically, and really look at your overall environment, and you're gonna be like, "Wow, okay, um, so that's what I did incorrectly," and that's okay. And when you find out that you made a lot of mistakes, just laugh. Laugh and don't even worry about it. Just say, "Okay, I learned a lot. I got it. Let me try again." Um, this is the biggest piece of advice I get. This is number three, and have not stated this. And this also goes to poodles, because poodles, in my opinion, because they're guilty of this too, because they foxy paws, poodles, monster, they kind of fall within the same issue, except I feel like poodles does just a little bit more research and is a little bit more accepting of feedback. So, but this one's a big one. Be more open. What I mean by that is don't just stick to your clique. Don't just stick to your community. Explore other communities, the anime community, the I don't know. Explore just what the science community, the psychology community. Explore you know crypto, and there was another individual. Welcome to my realm. There's all these communities that you can explore, right? And the more you do it, the more you do that, the more information that you're gonna receive, and then all you can do is just take from what you learn from these artists. You know, explore communities. Latchy Patchy. Welcome to my realm. Explore communities that you wouldn't even think about exploring. Explore communities that scare you. Explore communities that make you question, like, why am I even bother? And while you are exploring, just really just think about it. Like sometimes with me, I just have to like explore it all. Explore this community, explore that community, explore um, what is it? Like a little bit more about the LGBTQ, a little bit more about even about my own culture. Black culture, Native American culture, the styles, the fashion. Because there's a lot of artists, right? When they make these abbeys, you can just tell that they're not doing a lot of exploration when it comes to like culture wise with outfits. There's so many outfits, right? that should be made, and like so many, um, what is it? Dare I say, like religions and nations and everything that should be explored so people will know about this stuff. And how much you do that really reflects on your overall art. So be more open. If you don't understand it, ask people, talk to them, ask them open-ended questions to the point where it welcomes them to give you feedback. Okay, that feedback loop is going to help you, whether it's harsh or whether it's not. It's going to help you grow as a content creator. Okay, or not just whether it be with art, whether it be with Avi creation. That alone is going to help you in the long run. And the last piece of advice that I can truly give you, and this one's gonna hurt, okay? Because not a lot of people like this, okay? So, we again, on top of the feedback that I've already given before, I have to state this, and not a lot of people like this. Um, you have to witness. How I put this? I'm trying to put this in a way that is understandable. Sometimes you have to take a risk and not always focus on the money, not always focus on who's gonna like it, because here's the thing: you have to know who your audience is, which obviously both Poodles and Foxy Paws do, but they also have to ask themselves this one question when they go into furry hideout, when they go meet with these popular people: why aren't they wearing my Abby all the time? See, that's the question that's gonna hurt the most. I even sometimes get asked that question when after I had like did all the work to like get those Freedom Planet Abbeys ported to VRchat. You ask the question of why is it that it's on the favorites, but they're not wearing the Abbey, they're not advertising the Abbey. And see, when you have that realization, it's gonna hurt, and you're gonna cry, and you're gonna be frustrated, you're gonna be mad, but at the end of the day, it's going to help you. It's going to you know it's going to cause you to mature, because it's a humbling experience, because you made something thinking that, because at first I used to see Foxy Paws everywhere, Foxy Paws models everywhere. Now that's not the case, and the thing is, it's not do the same thing over and over again and expect different results. It's let me try something different. Let me stick to my old art style, but let me up the game. You up the game with your toggles. You up the game with what your Abbeys offer. You offer a fair price. You really do, especially in this economy. But if you don't do these four things, you're gonna just continue to make models, make Abbeys, and like for example, a lot of people are asking for you know different furry types. Like, what about a bird? What about a tiger? What about a tiger? What about a wolf? What about this? What about that? And there's even people that say stuff like, "Oh my goodness, all Foxy Paws does is just mix and match parts of an Abbey. Why not make an all-in-one Abbey? You custom create your own furry Abbey where they can pretty much mix match heads and arms and legs like Lego pieces." Honestly, that would be the first Foxy Paws model that I buy. Foxy Poodle. If you make something like that, listen, I'm being serious this time. I'm being dead ass. If you make a model like that, where you can mix and match the arms, the legs like Legos, and you could like add like a femboy or a female, like you just go all out where I can just like switch the heads and stuff. And it may look goofy at first, but trust me, I would be heavily invested in something like that. I'm like, you know what? That's me banging my hand, but I'm just presenting my credit card, my debit card. You will have my money, like literally, straight up. Here you go. Here you go. I'm sold. Here you go. No, no, I'm sold. I am sold. Like it's not that hard. It's just If you just try it, just try it, because people always can say, "Oh, well, you just mix and match parts of it, Abby, what the." Do that. Release it on April Fool's Day, and then here's what will be even cooler, right? Do that for all like your old previous Abbies, and then have like a surprise little furry model, right? And then put on their work in progress. That's a good way to really bring back people, and I promise you, it will make a lot of money, especially if you don't charge a high price, maybe 60 or 50 bucks. People are gonna look at that and be like, "Oh my god, this looks cool." H. Lynn, welcome to my realm. People are gonna look at that and be like, "Oh my god, this is awesome." I would wear that Abby everywhere. I'd be like, and it'll be cool for like the the non furries, because they'll have like all these options to pretty much switch between. Oh, well, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Creation is pain. When you create something, you are going to deal with some level of frustration and pain and failure and success. Your success comes from your pain, and it comes from your past failures. All right. So this project may be tough, may be frustrating, but hear me when I say this. But but if you make that sacrifice and that attempt, you'll be amazed at how many people will wear that Abby. You're gonna probably see a whole lobby with nothing but your models, because you not only made a joke, so you not only like uh made a joke about yourself, like, oh, people like to say that I like to mix and match and stuff like that. That's going to show one or two things. It's going to show that you're humble. It's going to show that you're paying attention. And at the same time, you're going to win a lot more people over, especially those who probably didn't like you at first. They're going to look at that, and Pool's going to be like, you know what? Let me try that. That right there. And if you start open up a section of community feedback, hey, show me your best designs. And if I like your design, I'll contact you, give you credit, and maybe, I don't know, give you VRchat Plus or something, and your name will be mentioned in my storefront. If you do stuff like that, oh my god, oh my god, ain't nobody gonna ever have anything negative to say about you again, because what you're showing is, I'm maturing, I'm learning, I understand that there's still so much more to learn about Avi creation. There you go. I just gave you a money making idea right there. And it's a shame that I don't have a lot of people, like watch this, so many lurkers instead, because that right there will help. Just try it. I understand it's gonna be tough. I understand, yeah, but blah, 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 blah. But if you try it, let me know if it works. Let me know if it works. Same with you poodles. Let me know if it works. Make that Abby, right? All the parts of your old Abbies, and put it in bundles. Put it in bundles, so like you can get the all-in-one for like this amount of money. You could get you can switch between two models. There's even someone that's literally have found a way where you can switch between a human and a furry, and it looks amazing. And I'm like, this reminded me of the good old days of Bloody Roar, and it took 4 years. Like, really find these Abby creators, collab with them, do something. Like, there's so much that y'all can do, right? I mean, look at the landscape of VRchat. Some people pretty much claim that VRchat, landscape was pretty much based off of meme culture. You see what I'm saying? See, that's the problem. VRchat doesn't have like a base. It doesn't have like any type of standing ground. That's why it was based off of meme culture instead of something even bigger than that. It's supposed to be a place where you could pretty much be whoever you want to be, create your own story and whatnot. Kind of like what No Man's Sky should be. But VRchat decided, oh, let's just be Roblox, but 3D. There you go. We Roblox, but 3D. Do whatever you want. No, no. There has to be something behind your project so people can remember it in a positive light. Like, people really like VR chat for a reason. There's multiple reasons. It's not just the 18 plus stuff. People make friends with you. People actually have created, worlds and abbeys, and they tell their stories here. It's a great way for them to make money. There's so much that people could do in VR chat, and people just they just sleep on it. It's like, oh, whatever. You ain't really doing anything. I'm just doing the same thing. I mean, like, can you imagine the creator of Hollow Knight had this attitude? Oh, well, I made one game. What do they make a sequel for? It didn't make $1 million. I don't care. A teacher once said to me, and a lot of my friends, if you're in this profession for money, you are in the wrong profession. Switch trades right now. The purpose of creating is to learn and to create something that will last forever. And I hate to say it, when it comes to Foxy Paws models, the Poodle models, they're only going to be remembered for one or two things. And this pains me to say this because I do like the whole, bring it back, bring a second life to VRchat. But this is what they're going to be remembered for. And I'm sorry to say this, they're going to be remembered for two things: the uwu stuff, and it's going to be remembered for a wasted opportunity. The second one hurts to say because it's the truth. When I look at these models, all I see is wasted opportunity. I don't see someone like trying to expand and try to do better. I see someone that's just in it for money. And that's why, and listen, and people are like, oh, you just hate on Foxy Paws. No, motherfucker. I have given Foxy Paws more chances than you can ever imagine ever since she first started Abby Creation. Ever since she first started Abby Creation, I was sitting in the background, right? Just waiting. Waiting. All right? Sitting there waiting. Just waiting. Begging. Waiting. Just hoping. Okay, she's going to get it right this time. All right. It's another year. She's going to get it right this time. Okay. This time, she's going to get it right. If I only care about 5% out of the 95%, Ozone Great, welcome to my realm. If I only care about 5% out of the 95% of your catalog, and I said it before and I'll say it again, that's a problem. It's just like with Xbox Game Pass, If I only care about maybe 10% of the games that you're offering me, then I'm not going to see it as a good deal. You could charge $25 for each of these Abbeys, and it's not going to make a lick of difference. If you're not doing something that's making people say, I need to advertise this, I gotta be real, okay? I have to be. It's just something about a Virgo. We just care too much, and it causes us to, lose friends, whatnot. But we care because we know that there's something inside of you that's missing, where you can expand upon it. I was really hoping that this Calypso model would blow me away. I was gonna make a whole ass video, right? A big video saying, "Hey, Foxy Paws did it." Kayla. Foxy Paws actually took the time, told her team, you know what? No. I got this. Let me show you what I can do. What's up? How you enjoying the new Hollow Knight game? Just at least make that strong attempt. Everyone will be like, holy crap. Look at what she could do by herself. With some feedback from her community. This is awesome. Yeah, the new game is tough. I'm trying to figure out where to go. And that right there is just, it would be awesome, Hell yeah, she's a baddie. Whoop whoop. Derek Grisham, welcome to my realm. I like her outfit though. Wish I had a red cloak like that. Especially since it's almost, alright, it's actually fall time, but it's gonna be winter time soon, so. Huh? What's this area? I've never been here before. Ah, crud, these little bug critters. But yeah, that's all I gotta say about Foxy Paws and Poodles. I don't ever want to talk about those artists ever again. I'm done talking about, because at this point it feels like they're just gonna still make money regardless. And to me, it is what it is. If she's content with mediocrity and just only give it just a bare minimum, that's fine. It's just like with EA. They're content with just giving the bare minimum, and yet they still make money. What can we do? It's like Marlon Wayans. Hey, it makes money. It's like Tyler Perry. Love you, Tyler Perry, but I gotta be real. If they can get away with giving the bare minimum, but showcase that they are able to put some form of effort, but not too much effort, because all I saw in that video was just all the toggles and whatnot. Oh, I could change colors. Like, Abby creators need to go far beyond just, oh, I can add toggles and change colors. Last time I checked, VRchat is a community. So we should work together as a community, right? So why not do just that? We shouldn't have to wait for virality to do this. We shouldn't have to wait, for special events to do this. This should be an everyday thing because you don't know what a person's going through and what their passion is. You know, can we just cut the drama? Can we stop trying to act like proximity chat for just a month? 1 month. 1 month of not acting like proximity chat. I feel like everyone should just look at people like proximity chat and just don't even give them attention. Just straight up just look away for those type of people. Because you know what? Yeah, there are terrible people, on VRchat and whatnot. But if we could just focus on the good people, right? We could get so much done around here. And it's the same with the game community. We could just focus on the ones that are actually doing what they need to do. Oh my goodness. We could get things back to where they need to be. But we're focused on the wrong things. And that is why after this, I'm just not going to talk about Foxy Falls anymore. People can tell me, oh, she's a great artist, all she wants. I'm going to say, yeah. But I'm going to give, this philosophy. But I'm not going to state it in that term because, millionaire, that's a little bit of a stretch. Foxy Paws is a 10,000aire that could be 100,000aire. Literally someone that could learn more about furries, humble herself just a little bit more. Instead of trying to hang out with popular people, trying to get all these sponsors, perhaps maybe stick around and just find someone that's not so big and they could give you $1 million money making idea, and then all your abbies will be shown just as much as Rexium. Foxy Paws models always stayed around for so long because of the ooh woo stuff, nothing else, and that's sad because I could look at a lot of these models and be like, you know what, I do see the passion in a way, like I do see the inspiration, but when I look more and more, I look at these models, the more I just look and I'm like, oh my god, I think I came up with a revelation. These are not for furries. And see, that's the hard-hitting truth that a lot of people, my friends, would get pissed off at me for saying, but it's the truth. People who wear these models aren't really furries. They're not. Because when you look closely at these models, and when you type in what a furry is, and when you look at the whole, like a concept of how a furry is made, you can tell that this is made by a non-furry. They're not a furry. They're just someone who uses that fan base to make money, which is smart. Because there's a lot of people that I see that wear these models, and when I ask them certain questions, they tell me, I'm not a furry. I'm not a furry. I'm not a furry. And that right there should be a big wake-up call to furries who support Foxy Paws. You can still do it. I'm just saying. You're supporting someone that's not a furry. You could be supporting someone that probably has an ill mindset of them. And we will never know. How will we know? And that would explain why you don't see a lot of these models, in furry worlds. You'll see them, but they get overpowered by others. The Mayus, the Nova Beasts. Melly Hami, who just came by my stream just a moment ago. They're a Mayu. You gotta look up what a furry is. You gotta look up beyond the whole, the negatives of VRchat. That is a small percentage of furries. See, this is what the algorithm does to people, right? When drama occurs, they blow it up to make it seem like that this is the majority. When in reality, it's literally 4-5% out of 90%. So if you do the math, a very small number. The number may be big, but the number of positives is always going to be bigger. So that's just something to think about when it comes to Foxy Paws, and even with poodles. When you see folks that make abbeys, and there's a human attached to it, and they add all of this work, and they are highly unoptimized, chances are They probably A, don't know what a furry is. B, are only in it for money. They're in it for certain reasons that never represented VRchat to begin with. That alone is something to really think about. You know, it's something in the book, as people like to say in the Bible, where it talks about how I forgot the verse, about how your imagination can be dangerous. And I was like, you know what? It's true. Imagination can be dangerous. If it's not monitored, if it's not managed, if it's not, looked upon, it can indeed be dangerous. And it's a shame that Foxy Paws, even though she makes all this money, she's gonna be older and look at this and be like, I wish I made something more. Every artist has that moment where they're like, man, I wish I did just a little bit more. I wish I went a little bit more far beyond. And the sad thing is, when it comes to those moments where people say that, there was someone in the background that says, I told you this 10 years ago. But how would they know? They don't know you. They never met you, you know? So it's just, that's why when I look at Fox Boss models, I just look at them like, okay. Like, that's just my reaction. It's just, okay. The biggest example I could provide is Ubisoft. Great games. Really great games. But there's just something about them that feels the same. The mission structure. The meat of gaming. They streamlined it so badly that no matter how much fun you have with Ubisoft games, after you beat them, that's it. That is it. That's it. You don't really think about them. Now, I'm not talking about the old school Ubisoft games. I'm talking about the new ones. You beat them, and then that's it. And that's the same with Fox Boss. You support her, and it's just like, okay, hey, I'm supporting something that's popular, and that's the cruel reality of supporting something that's popular. Now I understand with some folks that are quote unquote furries, right? I'm just gonna put that in quotation marks. They state that they claim to like these abbeys. If you like these abbeys, and which is great, I know there's somewhere deep down where you want just a little bit more. There's a particular purple chicken that I had a nice conversation with that literally stated, the one that can silence the rest is the one that's truly in charge. And I was like, wow. So the thing is, Foxy Paws is in charge of this. She's the ringleader. So anyone that tries to step up to her, well, there you go. There you go, folks. There you go. So any type of feedback that she receives, she can silence them. She has connections. So that's why when people see her stuff, they just buy it and they don't say nothing because they don't want to deal with, how they say it, the work. They don't want to deal with any drama. They want to make peace. Oh, I don't want to say anything, your stuff is fine. And then you got me that says, I don't really give a fuck if she likes me or not. I don't give a fuck if she's fine with me. She's saying, oh, you're the one that's talking shit about me. I ain't talking shit about you. I'm trying to help you. And if you think that you're a dumbass for thinking that I'm trying to talk shit about you, because I have plenty of other things I can talk about. Lots of things I can talk about. There's a lot of good news. There's like 10 plus good news articles that I could be talking about right now. But I think that's just a problem with Virgos. We just care a little bit too much. So I promise and I assure you, I mean, come on. Since 2022, and we're going almost 3 years, going 4 years, I feel like I ain't going to say nothing anymore. If I see my friends when I walk around in Foxy Paws models, I ain't going to say nothing. I'm just going to take the advice of a particular individual whose abbeys you should be buying. Lord Cumberland, check out his stuff. His stuff, in my opinion, is worth buying. It's cheap and it's well made. Don't buy Foxy Paws models. See, that's why I'm going to follow. You don't have to follow, but I'm gonna follow that because you want to know why? Because I don't like mediocrity. I don't like seeing the same things over and over again with slight differences. And the thing is this, and it works every time. And Ubisoft had to learn the lesson. That's why Ubisoft got better. When you stop supporting mediocrity, that's going to force the creator to do more, and then they're going to make their money back. This is not me trying to protest against Foxy Balls. This is me literally saying one last time, heed to my suggestions, or people are going to start boycotting your stuff. It's just the way it is. You got to listen to your community. You can't silence them. You can't start kicking people because, you know, they did something better than you. No, you honor that. Get your mods together. You know, you honor that. You tell them like that's awesome. Every queen, every king, every leader has its day. You don't want to be that one person that's known for doing stuff like that. You want to be known as someone who is open to feedback, open to their community. You can only hide behind people for so long. What happens to those people, you know, turn their back on you? You got to think like that, you know? How long are you going to keep relying on your team? There's going to be a point where your teammates may be sick. Oh, well, and you're going to make it an Abby yourself. This is the type of stuff that people got to think about, you know? But it is what it is, you know? Mediocrity, the scary thing about mediocrity, right, is that it's addicting. Because you don't even know it's mediocre until you explore and see something else. If I was a if I was a non-furry and I saw this cutesy Abbies and these characters and whatnot, I'd probably be like, what the fuck is this? Hell nah. And if I see something like Fox Mouse, I'll be like, oh, this okay, I like this. This represents me. I like that. You know, I like how it's not all cutesy, it's not all ooey and whatnot. You know, so I get that. That's why I say I think a lot of these models are not furries, man. That's why I feel like that because when you really talk to people, man, it's just and listen, it's not a bad thing. These are all suggestions. This is just me giving my opinion, which I'm allowed to do. Like if I were to say something like, "Oh, I think this game ain't all that great," I'm allowed to say that. I'm not defaming the artist. I'm not defaming the game designer. I'm just giving my personal opinion. Now, I like the game. I think the game is amazing. I ain't saying that because people are saying it. I'm saying it because I'm playing it firsthand. This game is actually really good. Can we please go back to a world, right, where we can actually give our opinions and not get attacked for them? I mean, come on. It's 2025 and we're still dealing with this, where we can't even speak out against our president, where we can't even speak out against avatar creators, as long as we're not disrespecting the person saying their IRL name. Like, come on. And how can that be defamation when someone says don't like it? They're like, hey, I'm just not gonna buy it. That's not defamation because that's what businesses do all the time. Don't like it, don't buy it. And then it's like when you do it, they're like, oh my god, you actually did it. Like, yeah. It's just such a whole hum response. No, I'm not gonna tell people that. I'm gonna tell people you make the decision, make the choice. If you want better, you gotta ask. You don't demand. You just ask. You just suggest it. Let them know they're doing a good job, but just suggest it. But me personally, I gotta say, when it comes to Foxy Balls, when it comes to Poodles, these are Abby creators who obviously have one end goal and nothing else. And people like that, they come and go. They come and they leave off the fact that, oh, I'm making money. Because I promise you and I assure you, and this is everything as the heavens are my witness. When they stop making money, you will stop seeing content. You're going to see a big old post talking about, oh, it's been fun and I love you guys and I'm going to move on. That is a sign of someone that was in it for only one purpose and nothing else. No passion, no nothing, just, well, you guys ain't buying my stuff no more and blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I'm just going to leave now. It's hard out there, you know. Everyone got to do what they got to do to make money. But I only could just imagine with Poodles and Foxy Paws, what would happen if they just tried something different? I just imagine, you know, like, what if they just branched out a little bit more. Instead of just trying to make everything look like Second Life. Can you imagine people actually trying something different? Doing something new? Listen, when I try Foxy Paws models, Poodle models, there's just something about them that I'm just like, this just doesn't look right. Sometimes you have to just take a step back and ask yourself, truthfully, what can I do to attract a more grander audience instead of just the audience that I already have? Try it. Try it. And just see what happens. I could be wrong. I could be dead wrong. I could just be completely wrong, not know what I'm talking about. But history tends to repeat itself. But it's just so funny because I hear it all the time. All the time. From my friends. Oh my god, I took your advice and I made all this money. Oh my god, oh my god, I did it and now I'm a lot happier. I'm like, yeah, congrats, good for you, good, but yeah. Like that's just my reaction every single time. Like, yeah. And listen, I only do this towards people that I know that are losing their passion. If I see someone that ain't losing their passion, they know what they're doing, I ain't gonna waste my time. Like, okay, you know what you're doing. I feel like Foxy Paws is getting bored. You can look at it and tell it's just you could tell that the passion's starting to fade. I can tell, look at an artist, I can tell when their passion's just fading away. And that's when people like us come in. We like, you know what? Let's how about we offer in our suggestions, our 2 cents. If I could count on my fingers how many times I see Foxy Paws models back then versus now, that should be the biggest wake-up call right there. That's not a sign to be discouraged. It's a sign to say, it's just time to go back to the basics. Because, folks, if I ain't saying anything, someone else is. Someone with a bigger following probably saying the same thing. But they ain't going to be as nice about it. As my friend Nova Dutchy once said, I'm the nicest asshole you'll ever meet. Because trust me, if I really, really wanted to be brutal, I could. But why? Why? Why would I want to be brutal? People can choose whatever they want, do whatever they want, say whatever they want, and that's okay. But at the end of the day, you just gotta be truthful and you gotta be real with yourself. You gotta look in the mirror. It's like what that one motivational speaker said, saying, why am I not putting in at least 50%? What is wrong with me? Every artist catalog, right, that I see, you know, like on VRC Arena, I see growth. I either see stagnation or I see growth. You know it's growth when someone like changes an art style from the old one and it just blows up and it works. Versus someone who sticks to the old art style, they get a one-hit wonder and then that's just it. Foxy Paws had a one-hit wonder with Zella, one of her top-selling models. Okay, this is one of her top-selling models. That dragon, that scaly, um, you know, avatar. It's going on 3 years, and that is still one of her top-selling models. And nothing is more frustrating to an artist. I know the feeling. When you put in all this money and effort into your new creation, and it doesn't sell as much as your first one. It's frustrating when it's like with a wrestler, when they put on a banger, 5-star match, but people still talk about Hulk Hogan and Macho Man, Bret the Hitman Hart and Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold and The Rock. That has to be frustrating. But you also have to understand the craft and the art as to why that's the case. Just because something makes a lot of money and is popular doesn't mean it's going to last forever. It's your naturally born hated Virgo speaking. And make sure y'all buy Hollow Knight Silk Song and Poodles, Foxy Paws, or anyone that's a friend of those two. I don't know that YPY said all this because I care. All right, that was for the TikTok. So now I'm just gonna stream for the YouTube. But yeah, that's all I gotta say. Ain't really nothing else more to talk about. I say what I gotta say. Not really worried about people didn't like it or not. Oh, it's 12 o'clock. I take my meds again. Oh boy, I gotta take this again. I gotta take all this till Wednesday. Wife's just trying to sneak back up on me. I'll be back. I got some food. I got some food. Ugh. All right, back. So, yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to talk about. Let's talk about what my life would have been like if I was a poppy fur. Okay, so first and foremost, if I was a poppy fur in some other dimension, I would hate my life. I know you're probably like, hate your life? What do you mean hate your life? What would you hate your life for? Your life will be amazing. You'll get to meet all these people and get all this knowledge, one of that. Honestly, I would care about the intellectual conversations more than I would care for anything else. Ding, ding, ding. You said it right there. You hit the nail right on the coffin, right? Right there. Stop. Right there. Cease. You're talking. Right there. You know, let me explain to you the dangers of always wanting to be super successful so quickly. When you are super popular, successful so quickly, you miss out on a lot of people in your life. A lot of people that could save you from turmoil, from danger, from agony, from pain, because your main focus was, I want to be popular, I want to be rich, I want to be this. And you lose sight of you. You lose sight of your goals. You lose sight of people that are fairly known or happen to be friends with that person that can tell you everything you need to know. They'll say they're a good person, but watch out for this. Be wary of this. And those are the people that you want to keep around your corner because those are the ones that are going to help you make sure that you grow as a person versus anyone else, right? And when you get, trapped in the snares of like the snake or whatever, you encounter, at least you'll know what to do. But see, what happens is those that are successful so quickly, they tend to move so fast that they miss out on the dangers that lie ahead of them. So that's why I see what I say I would hate my life. I would have so many friends and so many backstabbers. I would have people that would literally try to steal my ideas, claim it's theirs, people that would smile and whatnot. I will deal with people who will always want to, with me, and it just would feel hollow. I will have folks that will claim that they like me and love me just to use me. They'll hit me with the I need money. They'll hit me with the, can you spare a brother or a sister, a few bucks. They'll send me inappropriate pictures and whatnot. They'll pressure me to do more than I need to do. They'll cause me to want to lose my sanity. And you probably think to yourself, that's not true. That's not true. It is true. Because if you pay attention to every single famous person in the world, they always talk to those that are less fortunate than them as if we are their damn psychologists. And it's true. It is absolutely true. They look at us as if, hey, I have no one else to talk to. I can't talk to my agent. I can't talk to, so and so. I can't even talk to my best friend anymore because I screwed up with him because of a record deal or, because of the fact that I ended up being one of the best game designers. It's just this right here. This right here is something that you have to focus on because let me explain something. Those who want to be successful way too fast and don't even bother want to do the research, don't even bother want to learn from the people, know who to deal with, who not to deal with, who not to, screw around with, who to talk to. Those are the people that are in the most danger. I've seen it happen. I've seen people who ended up being so close to being a popular fur and they ruined their own success because it involved a minor, it involved money, it involved a scheme, it involved a scam, and NFTs, whatever it is, they ended up ruining their own life. because they just want to be popular. I have poppy fur friends. I don't talk to them as much. I always presume that they're always busy. I keep it moving. I tell myself, well, shoot, I need to get myself together so I could start making a lot of money and whatnot. And you have no idea how many times a poppy fur will look at me and they'd be like, well, damn, I wish I had your life. And I'm like, well, damn, I wish I had your life. so, money and stuff, be able to help my mother with this cancer, it's just, there's always going to be that divide. I'm always happy for her, but there's always going to be that divide. So, if I was a poppy fur, right, I'll always be the one that wants to try to give back to people until I realize you can't give back to everyone because the people that you hang out with, they'll tell you all their problems. I'm broke. I'm about to lose my house. I'm about to, and then that's when it puts you in a bind because either you have to give up all your wealth to make sure that you don't lose your friendship or most of it, or you say no and you end up being one of the selfish assholes in the world. You'll be asked for more collabs than ever before. And then you have to start giving out guidelines. And then guess what? Oh, you're the asshole. You're the terrible person because you want to step up and you want to actually, set boundaries. This is the dangers of wanting to be successful. Do it, but understand that there's always going to be that consequence that you cannot run away from. I have seen folks who tried to go this route and quit. I have seen folks who will do anything for success and then quit because it's too much. It's too much for them. It is too much. I have seen folks who are too scared to even speak up and say what they want to say because of some scandal or whatever that they're a part of, or the fact that they, quote unquote, ooh ooh with them. So they pretty much keep it on the wraps and say, oh no, they're a good person. Oh, they would never do that. Oh, you're just hallucinating and all that stuff. If we live in a world where we can't even speak up for ourselves, why live? If we can't even speak up and state how we truly feel about people and truly feel about individuals, why live? That is literally my philosophy. I want to be able to live where I can speak up and say what I need to say. If I can't do that, why bother living? Honestly, because no one's going to put me in a cage and tell me, you can't say this, you can't do that, you can't do. No, I'm going to talk. I'm going to say what I want because that's freedom of speech. And freedom of speech is beautiful. And I should be able to say what I want as long as it doesn't demean others. So if I have to deal with, situations where I can't say what I want as long as I'm not demeaning or hurting others, then guess what? I don't want to then no. That's not living. That's modern day slavery. And that's why I don't hang around a lot of poppy fur. That's why I don't want to be a poppy fur. I want to be popular at some point to help others, to instill knowledge, kind of like Michael Jackson and whatnot, like Jeff Hardy. But as you can tell with those two, they dealt with so much stress that Jeff Hardy, bless his soul, abused drugs. You know, the road to success equals sacrifice. You can't be successful without sacrifice. It is what it is. If you think that you can be super successful and not only have to get rid of some of your good friends or whatnot just to get there for a bit, you are wrong. You are wrong. And I'm not willing to give up good people just for a few $1,000,000. For what? To be 70 and alone? It's not worth it. Slow, steady success is the best way to go about it. You don't need $6 billion to be happy. You don't. For what? So you can explore all these different parts of the world. The world can only give you so much. And then afterwards, that's it. What can the world truly give you? What can the world truly give you? I can have all the money in the world and tell the doctors, take care of my mom, take care of my mom, take care of her. Here. And they'll still look at me and say, cancer don't work that way. It takes months. We'll find the top scientists in the world. They'll look at me and say, even if we do that, it will still take months. You see what I mean? People got to understand something. Just because you're popular, just because you're well known, doesn't exempt you on the fact that you are one thing. You're human. You will have errors. You make mistakes. You have your flaws. And on top of that, you also have parts of you that you don't like. And poppy furs, they have a way to pretty much try to push that to the side and act as if they're not human, that they're something else, that they're this cartoon character. It's really dangerous type of behavior. And then we wonder why in VR chat we deal with people that tries to kind of get rid of these people, you know? So I like to be the person that's just like a fly on a wall. I just like to observe. I like to, hear. I like to learn from them more than try to be a part of it. Because if you are not careful, and I mean this with every fiber of my being, if you are not careful, that's that. Uh, Look, popularity is a myth. It is a myth that leads to one's destruction because it is one of the biggest ways for anyone to be distracted. Because in their mind, they feel like they cannot be touched. Everyone has had this moment. There is nothing you can do about it. Nothing you can do about it. It is human nature. Anybody, I could even have that type of high. I'm untouchable. I'm gonna do things that I couldn't do when I was young. Let me see if I can just. Let me see. Let me just try this one thing. Oh, I'll be fine. I got access to the best doctors in the world. They told me that if anything happens to me, I will live forever. Don't fall for the promises of the world, because the world can only give you so much. That is the illusion of popularity. See, when you learn about the illusions of popularity, when you learn about how the game of life works, you're going to look at popularity as a scam, because that's all it is. It's a scam. Because let me tell you something, you got all these people, but no one wants to sit around you. No one wants to talk to you, because when you are someone that starts telling the truth, when you are someone that starts making people think, they look at you as a threat. They look at you like, oh my God, you talk too much. You oh my God, you're so preachy. And those people, you know, they abandon you, because the moment you try to help, the moment you try to give some advice, oh, you're a threat now. You know, you're not worthy of their time. You don't want to just have fun. You don't want to just sit and laze around. You can't expect a person who doesn't have like high expectations for themselves to be happy for you. I didn't understand that. I was like, oh, just motivate them. How can you motivate someone they don't want the motivation? So imagine me being a poppy fur trying to help other streamers, and the sponsors are telling me I can't do that anymore. You can't do that. You're hurting your numbers. You can't keep shouting people out. You can't keep doing this. You're going to be selfish. You're going to be like this. You're going to be mean. You're going to be cold. That's why I say I would hate my life. I would literally have to do what the sponsors say. I couldn't do my usual intro. I couldn't take as many breaks as I want to. They'll give me these terms of service I have to follow. I will literally just be a slave to the system. But hey, at least I'm getting paid, right? I'll be able to get everything that I want. High end, the best PC, the best everything, man, for what? Who do I get to, share it with? That's not always the case for those who are poppy furs. But I guarantee you, There's always something that they want, but they know that they shouldn't have it. So popular people are evil. No, no, no. Popular people are not evil. They're just easily deceived. They are. Even the most intelligent popular people are deceived. And it's because they make it easy. They make it easy. They're vulnerable. They're vulnerable. Do you not understand this? They're vulnerable. They make it too easy. And I can't blame stockholders and whatnot for doing what they do, because how can you get mad at them? If you deal with someone that's an easy target, you know, doesn't matter how pure your heart is, part of you is gonna be like, shoot, I'm gonna take advantage of this because look at my situation. My situation is terrible. If I can find where I can make more money than them and find someone else to leech off of, shoot, I'm gonna do it. That's an evil way to look at it, but is it really evil when you're dealing with someone that, let's just say, is probably a dick anyway? So in your mind, you're probably thinking, well, if the public gets on me, I could just say, oh, he was a dick. And there you go. It's just, well, welcome to the game of life. But that's why I don't want to be a poppy fur. It's not about being afraid of success, because I'm not. I can handle success. It's just the consequence behind too much success. John Cena has been holding WWE, the PG or whatnot, on his back for 27 years. Everything that man said in his promo was not kayfabe. That man felt that way. That man needed to vent. He can lie to himself and, like Hulk Hogan, be like, "Oh, that was all kayfabe." So, "Oh, that was just a script. That was just a no." These wrestlers get angry. These wrestlers get frustrated. These folks that work in the NBA, they get frustrated. They need a platform where they can like vent, rant. They need that. They're human. Poppy first don't have that. They can't vent, rant. They vent, rant. They lose followers. They lose viewers. They lose sponsorships. They can't speak up for themselves. They do that, they're done. They better ooh woo. They better, they're like the 18 plus. They better shake that ass. They better do whatever they can, or they ain't getting paid. You call that freedom? Do you really call that freedom? I don't call that freedom. I call that modern day slavery. My mother said that. I thought about it. I was like, wow. It's the type of slavery that deceives you into thinking that you're free when you're not. In other words, it's the type of slavery that you put yourself in. Mm. That's all the definition of modern day slavery is. It's the situations that you put yourself in. Deceiving because you receive so much into thinking that you are free when you're not. Freedom is when you feel such a peace that you don't even feel like you're being used and abused by a system. Mm. That's just something to think about. Folks, I'm going to read something to you. I'm not going to mention their name, but these are the type of folks, good people, that you can tell who have fallen for the game of being a poppy fur. This is what they have to say. Oh, hello. I figured I'd fill you in on how to approach me appropriately. Do not ask to collaborate with me if you do not share interests with me. Watch my shows, consume my content, and understand me. If you wish to only be a night in my bed, a waste of my time, do not bother me or my community. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, they ain't say nothing wrong. We're going to break this apart, okay? When I see people like this, that's ego. That's ego. And I hate to be that person, but it's the truth. I'm a fan of their content, but I'm just saying, like, that's ego showing. When I see people like that, I have to back away because they're on that high, as they say. People like that, Virgos, we don't fuck with that. We back away. We're like, all right, okay, let's break this apart, shall we? Do not ask to collaborate with me if you do not share interests with me. Number one, a collaboration is about sharing different interests with everyone. It's not just about the interests that, pertain to you. It's about a worldwide range of interests. If I like WWE and they don't, they like UFC, that is not an excuse for me to boot them and say no. That is an excuse for me to sit down, shut my damn mouth, and learn from them. I have met people like this who say stuff like this all the time. And all I can say is it's a sign of the fact that your focus and shift has changed and you're being more for yourself than your community. Not entirely, but it shows. It's starting to show. You know what I mean? So that's why I was like, huh? Watch my shows, consume my content, and understand me. Well, you just told me to fuck off if I don't share your interests. So why would I watch your content and consume your content, watch your shows if you told me to fuck off if we don't share same interests? Nobody shares, the same interests perfectly. It's just not possible. Like I have a lot of friends from different spectrums, and I may not fully agree with everything they say and do, but I use that to listen. I use that to listen and to understand them. And then I take 5 or 10 minutes of my time to just do a little research, find that person, and say, hey, I really like that collab we did. Let's do another one because I want to talk to you more about this topic and this topic in my stream. That's how it's supposed to work. It's not if we don't have similar interests, don't fuck with me. No. Another reason why I don't bother with people that end up trying to be popular first, because of that type of attitude. See, in my streams, right, and I know that's not the popular option because, and I get it. See, this is the thing. People that act like this fall for the numbers game. I got a lot of members. I got my clique. I'm gonna just stick to this route because it's working. It's making me money. But for how long will that work? For how long will that be successful? That's the question you have to ask yourself is how long? Now, the last one I get was what they mean by saying that if you just dare to just have a one night stand me and that's it, don't bother me in my community, that's the leeches. However, you could prevent the leeches if you set the boundaries firsthand. Interview these people. I said it over and over again. Before you have a bunch of people join your Discord, interview them. Get to know them. Talk to them. The process may be slower, but it will be less of a headache, and you will never have to post anything like this. You're probably thinking to yourself, well, why don't you tell them? They won't listen. And when a person is stuck in their ways, I back off. There is nothing you can do with a person that is stuck in their ways. Once they're stuck, go run. Just back off of it. You can either back off or just run. It's just the truth. Whether people like it or not, it's the truth. Remember what I was talking about, Foxy Paws? They're part of the poppy furs. Once they get stuck in their ways, there's nothing that I or their best friend can say that can convince them otherwise. It will have to be their own downfall and them to start losing people for them to understand. I think you done lost your marbles. Now, I understand in my other streams, right, that I stated that you have to be on VR only. That's only for presentation purposes. I honestly don't really care because, but that's just my rule. Be verified. If you're PC only, you know, you have to follow these requirements. But on other streams like this, I don't care if you're PC only. And I tell people, I was like, if you think my rules are unfair, go to someone else. And they do that. They go to other people, and the other people dog them, and then they come back to me. You see, I wish we live in a climate where if we say someone's name, and I can't say their name because they do type certain type of content that's not appropriate for these types of streams, which SFW with suggestive language. But the reason why I have to point this out is because this type of behavior from upcoming pop stars and whatnot is very concerning. Do they not realize that when they do this, they run people away? Good people who truly just want to show support. And if they don't run away, they're secretly talking about you behind your back. My collaborations are simple and easy. Anybody that's ever collabed with me will tell you, I like collabing with him. I may like collabing with this big poppy fur and whatnot more, but I like collabing with him because I feel like I can be more myself. When you deal with a lot of eyes watching you, and I learned this from a church, be weary of that. That's not, oh, they like you. That's they're watching you. Everyone that follows you, everyone that tips you isn't always for you. It could always be for different reasons. And that's scary. I actually like talking to people, get to know. I don't care what their walk of life is. But when they start acting like that, beep, 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 just for a little bit. And then I see this happen all the time. They have this realization that they went overboard. And when they try to make it up for it, it's too late. Go to any popular streamer, Poppy First Discord, and feel how constrained it is. No freedom. I've been in a lot of Poppy First streamer. No freedom. You feel like you have to be very careful what you say. If you post too many memes, you get a message from the mod telling you to stop. If you like so many posts, and I had to leave someone's server because they were being an asshole about me towards this, God bless them. I wish them well. I left the server, never came back. See, people are stupid, okay? And they're ignorant. Nature, it's just nature, okay? Because if that wasn't the case, we wouldn't deal with the stuff that we deal with. So we're learning, we're trying to be better, which is why people like me want to be better. Because we know that we could be stupid and ignorant. And we're trying not to be that way. This post that I saw yesterday made me scratch my head a lot. I had to sleep on this. I had to think about it. And I had to ask myself, what would make a person say something like this? Ego. A person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. Let's go over what Freud says about ego. Just ego. It is the rational mediator that balances the its impulses with real world constraints. So it's not bad to have an ego. It's only bad if you don't put it in check. That's why when you hear someone say your ego is showing, thank that person because they care. Now, all I can say is this: sometimes when you do stuff like this and you only focus on how successful you're being, you can miss out on other things. True friendship, actually dealing with something that's really peaceful. See, people are willing to do anything these days for money. Can't blame them. The economy's a mess. People are talking about Epstein files, which, by the way, is just a distraction. So I wouldn't focus too much on the Epstein files when there are actual, you know, real issues. Like those issues are bad, but I say dig a little deeper because there's a lot more to what's going on with those files than you think. If the government's waving keys, talking about look at what's going on with this and this, acknowledge it, but start doing a little bit more research. You're gonna find a lot more dark, heinous shit. And see, posts like this is why I don't want to be a poppy fur. It's nerve wracking. I'll give you another example. I met some folks, right? And they were struggling. Well, at least their lover was struggling. And I say, you know what? I'm going to help them out. I'm going to do this. I'm going to give them these ideas. And guess what happened? I got my thank yous and whatnot, but guess what happened? Now it is nearly impossible to reach them because I helped them out so well, and then their friends and whatnot got a hold of this person, and now it's as if I don't even exist anymore. That's just human nature. You gave me something I want, I got it. I barely know you. I like you, but times is tough. See ya. Game of life. And sometimes we could just be a little bit too careless with how we play the game. And instead of being mad, sometimes you just gotta say, touche, I learned something. Better to say touche than to say, oh, this person. Oh, no, touche. Okay, okay. It is what it is. Should have been smarter. So, now, in some cases, I could just be wrong. Maybe they are going through something, and it's just hard for me to get a hold of them because what they're going through is a lot deeper than I think. And that could be a possibility too. We don't know. This is just a hypothesis. That's all it is, just a hypothesis. Nothing else, nothing more. There are various consequences to being successful, positive and negative. And I wish there was a specific, you know, like some quotes that I could read off to you all, but I can't. I don't want to violate their privacy. But I wish I could read it because it's so true. But the thing I always want to say to them is Always look at the bigger picture. So don't always personalize it. Trust me, if every poppy fur that I knew kept always hanging around me every day, I would be mildly frustrated. Because I would look at them and saying, "You're hanging with me, you're having fun, you're talking about, oh, you wish you could have this life." No, you get your ass out there, make your content, and we'll see each other when we see each other. Oh, but you're such a good person. When I no, you focus on you and I focus on me. See, Virgos can be cold like that because we don't want to see that person fail when they got something going for them. So we're cold on purpose so they can keep it moving. Because we know that we're the type of folks that, you know, they'll hang around us and they're cool and then they'll start, using us like psychologists and everything. No. We all have, you know, our plans of life that we need to accomplish and whatnot. And at the end of the day, we have to also think about it like this. Remember this. I want you to remember this good. Life in itself is a never ending road, but filled with so many paths, ways to success. Each pathway is more darker than the next. And with each darker pathway, there's a light. You're going to make choices, regardless of which path that you choose, that you're not going to like. Sorry. You thought you was going to live this life perfectly? You thought you was going to live this life with no one hurt? That's foolish behavior. It's foolish. Unfortunately, someone's going to get hurt. Unfortunately, someone is going to, be in a situation where they don't like it or life. That's okay. But me personally, why be a poppy fur when I can be something else? If you understand how, you know, the rules of the game of life works, you'll be a lot happier, a lot more content, and you will be a lot less frustrated. You hear me? I hope you hear me loud and clear. You'll be a lot less frustrated. You'll be a lot happier with yourself because you'll be like, you know what? I've been here before. I get it. Versus, oh, I'm such a good person. I would never do that. You're lying to yourself. Accept the fact that you're going to pretty much make the same mistakes of the people that you quote unquote can't stand. That's why you gotta humble yourself. When you understand that even good people make some harsh mistakes and have regrets, you're gonna enjoy their content a lot more. You're gonna respect them a lot more. They're gonna respect you a lot more. It is what it is. It is what it is. Ain't nothing you done wrong, ain't or none of that. It's just life. But that's why people like me and many others, we gotta put certain people in check. Not because, what they said pissed us off, but because what they said is concerning. That's why I love people like Dilcher Davis. He respects these folks deep down, but he's just not going to tolerate certain behaviors. He's going to call it out to make people think. People with ego, almost having ego trips and whatnot, need to be called out. It's just that simple. And people who deny saying they have an ego trip are delusional because we all have them. You ever like start winning in a video game or like in a sport? You say, "Oh man, I'm just the best. I'm better than everybody. You know, I work harder than everybody else." That's ego. That is ego, whether you like it or not. That is ego. Your ego is overtaking your id. That's never a good thing. It's easy for someone to make a song talking about be humble, sit down, right? But you have to practice being humble. That's all I got to say, honestly. That's just something I really want to talk about. Now it's your turn. What type of poppy fur would you want to be and why? Or not just poppy fur, just popular person would you want to be and why? What sacrifice would you have to make? And what is the decision that you will pretty much make knowing that you'll regret later? And lastly, if you were to finally meet Foxy Paws or Poodles, what would one piece of advice you would give them pertaining to their avatars or just to in general? Mine is don't let your ego get the best of you because that is a piece of advice that everyone's heard. You got to be creative with how you utilize said advice to people. You understand? It's your naturally born hated Virgo speaking. This is for YouTube and Trovo. I'm taking a nap.